Hello YouTube, it's Ryan here with Hobbies of the Man once again, and today we are doing another light novel review. Now today we are going to be reviewing Division Maneuver, which is written by Shippo Seno, as you guys can see right there, and illustrated by Nidhi 2D. Now this is actually published by 7 Seas, as you guys can see right there. And the demographic here, as far as I can tell, is shonen. It's actually not like true. Like, I don't know what the demographic is, but given what I read and what I know about other shonen series, this does seem to fall into that same demographic, so that's what I'm going to go with. But if anyone actually does know, let me know down in the comments and I'll fix it. I'll put in a comment where I kind of fix problems that I have. And yeah. But the genre here is science fiction, although it's not exactly science fiction. It's more like sci-fantasy, because the core aspect of the technology is that it's powered by life force energy, which is called magic. But like, it doesn't really work like magic, if that makes sense. It just kind of works like, I don't know, like your body creates an electrical field and they harness that electrical field in order to power these machines that are basically power suit armors, or armored power suits, and machines that allow them to fight these aliens. So it's kind of interesting. I wouldn't know what to say, but it's basically science fiction. It's fantasy in a certain way. It's military sci-fi, and it's also kind of like magic school, whatever genre that would be, which is pretty nice. Adaptations wise, I don't think there is one. At least I couldn't find any information on it, but this would be a really nice 12 episode anime, because it would just be like really good. It will only have to be one season to kind of cover everything. It would have a really nice climax with that big battle that they have. So it'd be really nice, but I don't know if it's popular enough to really have an anime. Probably not, since it only managed to get 2 volumes, but it would be cool. So yeah. Now, the premise here is basically that mankind is attacked by these aliens called the Jave, and then the strongest human dies for humanity trying to fight them. And he gets reincarnated as this loser kid right after he's killed, right? And now basically he has to enroll into a Division Maneuver Academy, which is kind of like where the magical aspect kind of happens. This academy also happens to be a military academy, which is cool. And basically now he has to learn to fight again in order to rejoin the battle against the Jave. And he basically takes a long time to work to overcome his like new weak magic potential. And along the way, he joins a battle squad and he meets this girl, Hanabi Suzuka, who ends up being kind of like a love interest slash partner to him along the journey. And overall, it was really good. I actually am pleasantly surprised, because I'm going to be honest, I did buy it for the titties, for the illustration and the cover, and the illustrations inside as well. I mean, they look really, really good. And I actually really like this art style, although the balloon boobs are not that great. But everything else about it is really, really nice. And I wasn't expecting anything good out of it. I was just expecting like a really kind of mildly entertaining, science fiction-esque or science fiction flavored what's it called, fan service festival. And kind of like that's basically what it is. It's like very fan servicey, but it's also quite good in terms of how the battles are written, and just kind of in general how the story works. I'm actually quite happy with the book, and I'm actually really happy that I bought these, and I'm gonna definitely keep them in my collection for sure. Now the plotline here is actually quite solid. Like I said, it's really nice. Basically starts with the introduction to the world through the battle between the main character in his adult hero version and the Jave Queen, which is like the beginning of the story, right? Then after he dies and gets reincarnated, we basically deal with his childhood and then the first year of his time at Division Maneuver Academy, or I think it was called Jigen Academy or Jihan Academy, something like that. And that's where the bulk of the story takes place, during his first year of school. And basically it involves him learning how to fight and then actually going on missions once he joins Fuji Squad, which is a small four-person squad that helps out the military in actual battles, right? And then it turns into a larger world-saving type of plot in the second volume. But overall, it was very good. It was really nicely done. The story functions really well. It moves along at a good clip. It like doesn't waste any time being that frivolous, but it also allows the characters to breathe and do their own thing. And although they are being pushed along by destiny in order to fight this Jave invasion, they also have time to interact with each other and enjoy the presence of the other people around them. And I actually really like it because it turns into this kind of really romantic, kind of loving thing between our main character, who's a 13-year-old but is reincarnated, so his maturity level is kind of odd compared to his physical body, and our 18-year-old female protagonist, Hanabi Suzuka, which is the strongest person alive currently in this story. And the romance is really nice. It's pretty wholesome and really cute, but it's also kind of really meaningful because he's the person that saved her, and there's a lot of good stuff there between them, and I really enjoy it. I also really enjoy the way that, you know, the plot line doesn't get bogged down in either thing. Like, the romance and the battle thing is kind of separate, but also weaves together in a really nice, kind of like meaningful way that overall I thought was really good, and I just really enjoyed the plotline here. It was just really, really, enjoyable. I wouldn't say it's particularly crazy good or in any way kind of like really meaningful. Like, it's not really amazing. This isn't high like level literature by any means, but it's very well done, and it does what it wants to do, and it doesn't bother with trying to be better than that or fails at doing what it wants. So I really liked it. It was super solid, just really enjoyable. Now, the characters here are really good. I really enjoy them. They're just really fun, right? We have this really nice balance between serious characters and ridiculous characters, and characters that are both at the same time, and I just really enjoy that, because that's kind of the thing with light novels, is that sometimes that balance doesn't happen, and you get just like hundreds of characters that are just like really odd and really ridiculous, which is usually quite funny, but it kind of gets tiresome that there's really no like serious characters. And so I really like that because it doesn't really devolve into straight man, like the whole kind of straight man humor thing that Japan has very often. But it still has an element of comedy between the characters in the way they interact, which I really like. So we have Rin, who is the kind of Ara big sister kind of character. She's technically sisters with Hanabi Suzuka, but she's not really related to her. She's kind of like adopted Suzuka into her family or something like that. And I really like her. She's a fun character. I also really like Cade, who is the lolly, big tit kind of character. And she's a hard-ass kind of sensei. I really like her as well. She's just really fun because she's super like over-the-top ridiculous, but she's also very caring about our main characters. So I really like her as well. She's pretty nice. Let me see if I can pull up their illustration so you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's Hanabi right there, and then this is Cade, who is like this, like, I don't know, she's really short, and people kind of refer to her as a lolly, but she has like giant boobs, and it's kind of funny overall. Like, she's just a really funny character, but she's also very hardcore, so I really like her. Then we have Hanabi, obviously, which is the warrior princess. I think they call her the Bushi Hime, which is like literally warrior princess. But the whole thing with her is that she has two modes. She has maiden mode and warrior mode. And basically when she's in warrior mode, she's very serious and very compelling and like, what's it called? Very competent. But then when she's in maiden mode, she's super shy and cutesy and really doesn't know what's going on and how to fix things. And I really like her. Like, just that type of character, like the badass swordswoman that also has this kind of like cutesy side to her is just great. I really love that type of character. I really enjoyed it. And there's a Scarlet, and I just enjoyed it in so many other characters as well. So I love that. I love that character type. And she's just nice. And I really like that she has a lot of PTSD, and she's like relatively serious compared to other main characters in other light novels. And yeah, overall, she's just very fun. I like her a lot. Kuon, which is our main character, is the tormented main character. He's really earnest and he's a good guy, but he also has kind of an edge to him since he used to be a super powerful, super badass soldier that has a lot of serious PTSD and kind of like survivor syndrome, I think is what it's called. It's like he basically knows that he survived where everyone else didn't, and so he has this kind of like suicidal nature to him, and he fights really recklessly and stuff like that. It's very interesting. I really enjoy him as an individual and the kind of parallels that he has with Hanabi and the way that they interact and kind of connect. It's really good. We also have Tuka, which is the kind of kudere character, I guess. She's really cute, and I really enjoy her character as well, but sadly she's a lolly, so I really don't like it that much because lollies are really not fun. Like, I don't like them at all. But I mean, I'll tolerate them because it's just a thing that happens in Japanese media so often. But I really like her because she adds a kind of a softer edge to Kuon that he really didn't have in the first volume. She's introduced in the second one. And I like the way that they combine and kind of interact as people. And I really just enjoy a lot of the characters here because they just bring something to the table really nicely and like really well. And I like the balance that everyone has. So really good, really well done with the characters. Just really enjoyed it. Next, world building. It's solid. I don't think that it was super good, but like it wasn't bad either. I enjoyed the technobabble and the magical technology that they have available to them. And it's really cool. It's a nice, interesting mix between the two. I don't think it's very common. Like space fantasy usually doesn't have like a very well detailed mix between magic technology and science. It's just kind of like, yeah, it just works kind of thing. But I really do enjoy when the kind of genres get melded together and stuff like that. So really liked it. There's some general information about physics and how space-time works and stuff like that. So, I mean, you do have to know a little bit about those things, but everything is pretty well explained. And generally, our main character doesn't really understand that stuff because he's kind of like a brawny fighter type. So he like usually just like explains the general premise, and then he's like, and then I didn't understand anything else, so you don't have to either, which is kind of good. And yeah, the aliens are very interesting. They're super monstrous. They're basically like discs of meat, like manta rays, but they have tentacles as well, so they have a really creepy feel to them. And I'm actually kind of sad that none of the illustrations showed them. Like, all of the illustrations were based around people, which is pretty good. Like, I don't dislike it, but I would have really liked to see the design of these creatures in like an actual picture, right? But yeah, world building was good. Nothing bad, nothing good. Or like nothing bad, nothing particularly good. It was just like generally good and enjoyable. It was enough like there to be fun, but it wasn't like something that you can focus on that much. It's not like a Brandon Sanderson book that has like layers and layers and layers of lore. This is just kind of like, here's what needs to happen in order for this story to work. So this is what we're going to have world building wise, which is fine. Now, art-wise, wonderful. The characters are very well done. Like, I really enjoy how this artist draws. Like, it's just really good. I already showed you guys some illustrations, but here's another one, which is really good. And here's another one. I mean, lots of ass, but overall, I just enjoy how these characters look. The design on them is pretty good. That's Fuji, Fuji, Rin, and N, and then Cade, Hanabi, and Kuon. And that's the last illustration here. But there's quite a few more that I like a lot. This one is probably my favorite. I just love how badass and powerful Hanabi comes off in this picture. Of course, there's a lot of other ones as well, but generally the art is good. I really enjoy that it's character focused, and yeah. It's both. It's really good in both color and black and white, which is not usually the case. I think generally I prefer illustrations in color when it comes to light novels, but sometimes they just look really nice black and white, and that's kind of like what happened here. And the character designs are just good. Like, overall, the art was really fun, and I really did like it a lot. Now, fan service wise, there's a fair amount. There's a lot of what's called boob and ass shots all over the place. But generally, I don't think that they're that bad. Like, I mean, yes, it's kind of like unnecessary because they're supposed to be wearing power armor. Why is the power armor so kind of like sexy, right? But I think it kind of works because it shows off how like the way that she's positioned often shows off a lot of power, a lot of strength from her. So it's not really just like sexy for the sake of being sexy, because the artist knows how to actually also show that she's really powerful, which is really nice because it's not always the case, right? So I really like it, but I'm sure that some people are going to complain about it. And if you complain about it, that's fine, but like, I mean, it's not really going to change anything. I don't think the Japanese are really going to care about that. But yeah, fan service, fair. If you don't like it, don't read this. It's not really for you. Mostly because the fan service here is like there and it's like prominent, but there's more to it than just like, hey, look at this girl's boobs, right? So yeah, now rating wise, this is a 4 out of 5, which is really surprising to me. I thought this was gonna be like a 2, maybe a 3, but the fact that it's so high up means that it was really surprising and really good, and I just really enjoyed it. Of course, there's really nothing here that is super crazy. I mean, this is basically just like the first book of Ender's Game, but like slightly different, right? With like power armor. So it's not like super crazy or super good in any kind of fancy literary way, but it's just really enjoyable. It's surprising. It has good art. And yeah, I think my reaction is better than I expected because I did go in with such a low expectation, but it blew my expectations out of the water because I didn't really think it was going to be enjoyable at all. And I just liked it. So yeah, that's why it's a 4 out of 5. I definitely recommend this title. If you can pick up both at the same time, do so. Just enjoy both of them because there's really no point in buying one and then not the other. Because the story, although it kind of does finish at the first volume, it's always nice to finish the story correctly. And the fact that it's just 2 light novels is like really easy, right? So just pick up both if you can. Now, similar titles, I'm not really sure. I mean, Data Live is kind of similar. And maybe something like 7 Spellblades in the fact that, you know, the kind of like school aspect thing with a lot of sword play is kind of interesting and kind of works the same. But it's not exactly the same because 7 Spellblades focuses more on like political type of stuff alongside the battles. This is more just like battles and off the field romance, which is kind of similar but not the same. And Data Live is like similar in the sense that like the technology that they use is kind of similar in that sense, but it's not exactly the same either. So yeah, but those are the 2 best examples that I had of similar titles. So if you like Data Live, check this out. If you like 7 Spellblades, check this out. Or if you like this, check out the other 2. And yeah, that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. So see you guys later.